Hello, Euphorians. Picture this. The leaves are rustling, school is back in action, and drama is in the cool, breezy air of Southern California. What could be more euphoric than a back-to-school carnival full of drugs, sex, and scandal? Listen up, bitches, to get the most in-depth look at Euphoria's most aesthetically beautiful episode to date. Grab your cotton candy and hold on tight, because we are about to embark on a journey into the twisted tunnel of euphoria love. Hello, Euphorians. It's me, Paige, and I'm back here with my boyfriend, Alex. How's it going, Alex?
What it is, Paige? What's up?
Well, we are officially on day 31 of quarantine in New York City, which is insane. And when I say we, I literally only mean me and Alex. Like, we've been very good citizens. We have stayed indoors. We have not left unless we needed to get groceries, which is about, what would you say, 2 to 3 times since we've been in quarantine?
Yeah, we're on like a once every 2 weeks, once every
It's crazy.
week type routine.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, but like I'm really proud of us. But it hasn't been easy, but like it's been easy having our fans out there, which are so supportive and so cute.
Hell yeah.
I definitely want to start the episode out before we, do our usual routine. I do want to shout out to a lot of our followers on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you may be, Facebook. You all have been so sweet, so amazing. Your DMs have just been like the cutest things ever. Alex and I are so excited. We don't care about how many followers we have. We definitely did this out of passion. So any messages you send our way are just like so appreciated. So I had to start out by saying that.
Yeah, and like shout out to our international followers. Like shout out to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Like shout out to Italy. Shout out
Poland?
Spain. Shout out Poland. Like
The list goes on.
We got listeners all over the place, and we feel like super lucky that you guys, for some reason, give a shit about us and want to listen to our silly ass podcast.
Yeah, and I know like we all share the same love, which is euphoria, but like Alex already said, we're just so thankful. So thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. But anyways, also on that kind of like more somber note, or happy kind of somber, that's weird to say it, but Labyrinth this week on his Insta stories came up, and Alex and I were like dying because we found out that he has coronavirus, and so does his whole family.
Yeah, our euphoria update of the week is not a great one. Our boy Labyrinth is laid up with the coronavirus,
which is
wishing
crazy.
him all the best.
It's crazy, but it also shows that
die.
People in LA, if any of you are listeners from LA, like it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter what country you're in right now, like everyone just needs to be safe and stay home. Like stay the fuck home. I mean, there's a lot you can do from home. You can start a podcast, you can get drunk, and you can watch Euphoria. There's 3 things I already named.
Perfect. That's all more. You need.
But really, our warmest wishes go out to Labyrinth, obviously, because he's a part of our Euphoria family. So sad. He's been quarantining, too. So it just goes to show it doesn't matter. Like, the virus is going around.
It happens.
But he said it's awful. Like, he literally on his Instagram story was like, it's fucking awful. Like, we've all had the worst of symptoms. So Labyrinth, we love you. Our warmest wishes. We hope you're all feeling better. It seemed like he felt better on his Insta story, so let's hope the best for his family. Then moving on, we also want to do a quick shout out. Speaking of our amazing followers, Miranda, who's at, I'm going to butcher the fuck out of this, but it's at Miramaro,
I think.
It's Miramaro is how it's spelled.
Yeah.
But shout out to you, Miranda. She actually DM'd us.
Yeah, she hit us up in episode 3. We were wondering what shows Kat was watching when she was dreaming about her ideal romances, and there was one we didn't know, and it wasn't in the credits, and she hit us up and said it was True Blood. So
any
there
of
you go.
Yeah.
If you want to know about Kat's like deep history of romantic fantasies.
Yeah.
She is into True Blood.
So it's Gilmore Girls, True Blood, and Scandal is what we decided?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Those are three very different shows.
Plus 1D and...
One Direction.
And what was the other? Like Once Upon a Time, the one with Captain Hook.
Yep. Emma and Hook.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, thank you, Miranda. That was really sweet. I mean, I love that. That means people are really listening, and we just, once again, so appreciate it. So... Also, another quick shout out before we go into the episode. We actually got to speak with the Algie Smith. And
we did, yeah.
For those of you who are newcomers or just starting to watch Euphoria and are listening.
Algie Smith, who plays Christopher McKay on Euphoria.
Is it Christopher or Chris?
Christopher. He's a nerd.
Christopher McKay. Anyways, so yeah, we slid into Chris's. I get them all mixed up. I actually joked with Alex before we got on the call. I was like, do you think it'd be weird if I called him McKay? Because I like to call characters by their names. I know that's like psychotic, but like I have to go off topic really quick. When I met Daniel Radcliffe when I was in high school, and that for me was like, oof. I mean, Alex, come on. Would you not die if you met Harry Potter? You don't care as you're a guy.
Know. I mean, I love the movies and I like Daniel Radcliffe as an actor,
care?
but I wouldn't like.
You wouldn't want a picture with Harry
Daniel
Potter?
Radcliffe. I don't know. I mean, I guess.
I feel like you would have at the time. It was such a big deal.
I mean, I love I don't care about celebrities. There's like very few celebrities I care about, and the ones I do care about, like I'm passionate about. But like, I would be stoked to meet him. He's a great actor. I like his work.
I know. I just thought of this though, and I have to say it. So when I was young, Alex already knows the story. I have pictures. Maybe I'll plug them. I'm just now thinking of this. This is definitely off our script, but I met Daniel Radcliffe when I was like. I want to say like a sophomore in high school, and I literally, before going into it, I told my friend when I meet him, I feel like I'm gonna call him Harry Potter, and I hope he doesn't care, because like I don't really care about Daniel Radcliffe, I care about Harry Potter, and that's who you play.
Did you call him Harry?
No, so I was about to, and you know what he said? My friend interrupted me, and before I could even like utter a word because I was so starstruck, I literally could barely speak. I mean, at the time, this was like meeting like my biggest idol, which was Daniel Radcliffe. Which is so embarrassing, but it was.
He was cute.
No, he was really short, which is, I'm really tall, so it's not against him, but like for me it was a really like weird moment. I know, whatever. He was so cute. He was so humble, so sweet.
You're like
but
a
anyways,
racist.
Long story short, I meet him. My friend was like, what's the most annoying thing that you think about fans? And he said, when fans call me Harry Potter, it could not be more annoying because that's not my name. Like, I'm a human. This is like my real name, which is Daniel. And inside I just crumbled because I was like, wait, no. Like, I was going to call you Harry Potter. Through this whole time, I was, like, planning on calling him Harry and making it cute. Like, do you care if I call you Harry? And he literally, right off the bat, was like, I fucking hate when people call me Harry Potter. Like, that's not my name. Like, don't call me Harry Potter. And I was like... So, anyways, that was really off topic. But I wanted to call Algie Smith McKay. I didn't. But anyways, we had a great talk with him. But I'm not even going to go into it because Alex and I decided to start a YouTube channel. Alex, what's our little handle?
Yeah, we got a YouTube channel. Our channel's called That's So Euphoric. If you wanna listen to our podcast anywhere other than all the other random places like Spotify and stuff, you can catch our episodes on YouTube. But we're also gonna throw up the footage of Paige's convo with Algie on there.
Algie Smith.
Plus
he dropped some new music this weekend.
Probably some other random stuff. Yeah, he dropped a new single. I forget what it's called.
It's like Peace of Mind, I think.
Yeah, or Push Me Away.
No, Pushing Me Away, but then he also dropped Peace of Mind the other night.
And Peace of Mind. Follow-ups to All Women Matter. All Girls Matter. Yeah, All Girls
same
Matter.
Thing. All Women Matter, All Girls Matter. They all matter.
His previous hit, All Girls Matter.
But yeah, so I don't know what else to say other than Algie Smith is a gem, and I do want to redeem myself from last episode. I talked a lot of shit. I don't take it back. Like, I still think during his live, during quarantine, he was being a little stupid, but like, you know what? After talking to him, I fully stan Algie Smith. He was such a sweet guy. He was really funny and just like very genuine, and he clearly cares about his fans. So you know what? I'm here for Algie Smith, and you know what? He's right. All girls matter. So stay tuned. We are going to post our vlog very soon. We will absolutely plug the shit out of it. So we're not going to give you any of the tea. You'll just have to watch our vlog.
So without further ado, let's get into it. Yeah. So episode 4, titled Shook Ones Part 2, which continues a trend of naming these episodes after hip-hop songs. But it kind of there's kind of like some inconsistency here. That
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm feeling about the naming structure of the episodes.
Well, they
Because
didn't even use it. They didn't even use the song, right?
Right, well, so they start with Stunt Like My Daddy, which they do use. But
Which is
then last
great.
week was Nas Made You Look, which they did not use. And then this week is Shook Ones Part 2, which they also don't use in the episode.
They didn't use Made You Look?
No.
Okay.
So I feel like that's kind of like a half-baked concept a little bit.
Wait, I thought they did. I thought Kat's listening to it and her...
No, that's X Gonna Give It To You.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like, I don't know how I feel about this naming structure, given
weird.
that it's kind of half-baked, and then also they drop it a few episodes later when they had named the episode, like...
Bonnie and Clyde.
No, that's a song, too.
Oh my god.
That's Jay-Z and Beyonce. Come on. They carry it for like 1 or 2 more episodes after this, but then we get to like how to pee when you're fucking depressed or whatever,
Yeah.
and that breaks the trend.
That should be a song, but it's not.
So they don't really carry it through the whole season, and then sometimes they use the songs and sometimes they don't. So I'm not sure how I feel about this. I like the idea of it, but I don't know that they nailed the execution.
Totally agree.
But anyways, Shook Ones Part 2 is a great song.
Yeah.
And then this episode opens straight with Jules' past.
Her upbringing.
And this also kind of breaks my my theory about every
yeah.
episode starting with Rue having some kind of like framing device for how she knows about what she narrates in the opening
Psychic.
sequence. Yeah, like she's psychic or
That's
she's
so
dreaming
weird.
or whatever. But in this one, it goes straight to Jules, and we have no like possible reference for why Rue knows this. So fuck my theory.
It was a really good theory though, and it carried out 3 episodes, so it's not like it's that
It was a fun theory
bad.
while it lasted. But anyways, we get into Jules' story, and wow.
Wow, fuck her mom. That's like what we say over and over again, or at least what I wrote down like 5 times when we took notes.
Yeah, same.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I understand that maybe there's some people out there that are fucking stupid and closed-minded and like don't know how to like not be selfish and care about their kids. Crazy, but it's not that hard. But I don't even understand like the levels she goes to.
Jules'
like,
mom is just
put
fucked.
Jules away.
It's so
She's
so
acting
bad.
like she's a psychopath murderer. It's like she's just transitioning. What's the big fucking deal?
I mean,
Welcome to 2020, bitch. Like,
I know. I think that the impetus for putting her there was more related to her like self-harm.
like she didn't know how to deal with her depression.
Like, fuck her. Yeah.
Got it. I thought it. I that's funny. We haven't talked about this. I thought it was definitely because she was like wanting to transition. I thought her mom was just like, I don't want to deal with this. Like,
Well,
you
it's
go to this.
even
You
that-
go to this place.
Yeah. Even though that place is very shitty, it's not like a like.
Yeah.
It's not a religious like
Totally.
propaganda like don't be gay type center. It's just
No.
kind of your run-of-the-mill psych ward where they would not treat you for like having issues with like transitioning between
Totally, you're right.
genders. So I
But
think
we
it's
both were
more
a little
for the
confused.
self-harm and stuff.
We both at first were very much like, wait, is this an insane asylum? Like, what the fuck is this place? Because it's
Yeah.
we know the
Totally.
timeline, and we're like, this seems really strange. I feel like you'd have to like do something really awful to go somewhere like this, but
Yeah, they eventually confirm that it is a psych ward. And then like we looked it up, and if this was in California where the rest of the show takes place, I think she was only there for 72 hours because in California you can only like involuntarily commit someone, including a minor, for a maximum of 72 hours.
interesting. It was probably a trial, right?
If they
Like,
represent like an imminent harm to themselves. No, without a trial, without a court order, that's a whole other thing.
okay.
But I don't think Jules did anything that could have gotten her a
No,
court order.
I don't mean
to
a court
be,
trial.
Like,
I'm
committed
saying
there.
maybe it was a trial. Like they're like, let's test this out, see if she's, has the symptoms of needing to be here or whatever you call it. Like the
Yeah, I mean, you can only do it if someone represents like an imminent harm, so like an imminent
Okay.
threat of harm to themselves or others. So I'm assuming they committed her under like representing a threat to herself.
Got it.
But
Okay,
those
that
holds
makes
only
sense.
last for 72 hours, so presumably her dad gets her out at the 72 hours, or
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Okay, so
I
the scene where
mean,
she's hugging her dad, that makes sense because it doesn't really, they don't really treat it like, oh, she's been there for months. It's very like
Right.
short term. You're right.
So hopefully for her it was only 72
Well,
hours
then-
and not longer.
That redeems the question that we both had, which is why the fuck did her dad let this happen? And that makes a lot of sense because if her mom did like an impulse bullshit move, then her dad probably was like, I need to get her out, got her out in 72 hours. Oh, praise be.
Yeah.
Go Jules' dad.
But yeah, what a fucking place, man. There's the
The big rapey boy is what I wrote down. I don't like him, the guy that is jacking off
I mean,
in the
who
room.
likes that guy?
I'm just saying I don't like that part of the episode. It makes me cringe, which is like there's so many parts of the episode that a lot of people are uncomfortable with, and for some reason that one I'm just like, do we even need this part? Like
Yeah, I don't know. I don't find it too excessive, and that's the type of stuff that you're liable to encounter in a psych ward. Like,
I guess,
I
but like
mean,
it also just
do we
shows
have to see his like tiny dick? Like again, more with the jacking of the
dicks.
tiny dicks.
At least he's
But
not in a
I don't know.
diaper. But like, I mean, yeah, I guess they do a good job of showing the stark contrast of like Jules obviously like isn't on the same level as some of these people that are like suffering in this.
Yeah,
ward.
and plus it's probably a good shorthand for like, oh my god, like they don't spend that much time in the psych ward, so they need to give you something to be like, holy shit, this place is fucked. Like, and
yeah.
so that's a very quick, easy way to like illustrate how fucked this place is.
You're so right, but like, ew,
But yeah, disgusting. But yeah, I mean, Jules somehow has a great sense of humor about being there. She's like laughing about. She's like, maybe these mitts will help. Like when they have the fucking like mitts strapped to her hand. So she's still
really
funny.
cute. She has such a good personality, even as a youngster.
Totally.
But we also love the doctor that helps her out. I mean, he's really stupid for leaving her with that ginger ale can. Who would have thought, though? I mean, I can't say I would think my kid would like, or whatever, a kid I was treating would use that as like a knife, but you have to take every precaution. And if you work in a psych ward, like, you should know this shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're trained. They know better.
But to be fair, I
don't hold it against him because he's a nice guy.
I know. Well, not only is he nice, I think he was like, this kid doesn't belong here. I'm going to treat her different. And then he was like, fuck.
Yeah, he gets bit in the ass by that.
It's so sad.
Yep.
But I wrote, obviously, Alex and I talked about this a little before we recorded, how I thought it was just like so sad, obviously, to hear her talk about how she didn't like how her like brain worked, how she looked. I mean, hearing any child or adult say that is awful, but that part was very triggering for me. Alex knows, like, I have a shit ton of anxiety. I've had lots of fucking shit in my life. So hearing like a little kid like that just like talk about that shit is so triggering. Like, I can't even imagine being her dad. It was just really sad. So I guess like main point being like Jules, no wonder we like pick her to be bae of almost every episode. Like, she truly like did go through a lot of bullshit and like is such a badass and is so like she's confident and she has her things, but like she's just a great character.
Yeah, I mean, she ends up one of the most like put together, like mature,
competent,
got her shit together characters on the show.
Yeah.
And given her background, like, damn, good
her
for her.
confidence doesn't feel phony. It doesn't feel insecure. It's very like
no, she
strong.
earned that shit.
Yeah,
big time.
So, yeah, and then I also wrote, I mean, I just think she's beautiful. Like, her transition is, like, on point. Like, she's just a beautiful girl. I'm just like, Jules is, like, a star.
Yeah, she gets out of the psych ward, and a few years later, she starts slutting it up.
Yeah,
in her
she
words.
does. And, like, good for her.
Or in Rue's words, I guess, and...
Hunter, who plays her, has the weirdest sex scenes, by the way.
Yeah, she definitely gets, like, probably the weirdest sex scenes in the show.
Weirdest.
Because, like, Kat has to encounter weird stuff, but she doesn't really, like, partake in the weird sex scenes for the most part. But Hunter has to take place, like, be a part of, like, some pretty fucking awkward weird sex scenes. Because they do this whole sequence where she's, like... Mm-hmm. Banging all these dudes who are allegedly 100% straight.
Yeah, right.
My ass. But
also it's funny because she's very like cool, calm, and collected when she's just like, I don't care, like, I'm just here to fuck.
Yeah,
we don't need to talk about your life.
Whatever, dude. I know you just want to BJ, so like, let's get on with it.
Yeah, and you were saying too that it just shows how many dudes nowadays like just are so lame and like. Or I guess, yeah, lame. They just, like, are so afraid to, like, talk about their sexual orientation.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
all these dudes are...
Who cares? Be proud of it.
Clearly uncomfortable with being into trans women.
Yeah, like,
and
who cares?
Can't just admit that, so they all have to say they're 100% straight, even though they're fucking obviously not.
Obviously not, yeah. But she has the weirdest sex scenes, which, obviously, like, we all know as super fans that Hunter was not an actor before Euphoria. She only did modeling. That was it. So, I mean, fuck. I couldn't fuck Eric Dane, is that him? Yeah, Eric Dane.
Speaking of...
without laughing, so, like, good for her. Good job, Hunter.
Speaking of, we revisit their motel sex scene during this sequence, which definitely paints it in a bit of a different light, because the first time we talked about this, it was a little ambiguous how rapey this was.
But we both were like, it's rapey.
This definitely, like... put some points on the side of it being more rapey, given that she's like, sometimes it's so aggressive, I just imagine myself somewhere else or whatever while that's happening. Like, that's not a good sign.
No. It shows that, like, clearly that was not, like, a romantic hot moment for her. It was definitely a little bit traumatizing, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, she just imagines she's not even in that moment during that, which is, like, a pretty classic thing people say when they're being raped.
Totally. So that's awful.
Yeah. But definitely sheds a little more light on that.
On a lighter note, she does want to move to NYC. She's hugging Rue and they show her quickly.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about how now she's we wrap up Jules' upbringing by now I've met Rue. My life is like going well. I like her. She's cool. She's dope. I picture us like living our life together in New York City.
In a shitty New York City apartment.
It would have been more. I think the writers should have put like the Big Apple. I feel like that would have been a better way to say it.
The large
but you know
apple.
what? It's okay. Like, you win some, you lose some. But I really think she could have said the Big Apple in that part.
Yeah, come on, Euphoria screenwriters. Sam Levinson, like, what the fuck?
But yes, she wants to live in New York. So like, shout out. If Hunter wants to live in New York, she does. Actually, I don't even know why I said that. But if she wants to live with us, like, we have a studio, but like, she could live in the kitchen.
Yeah, hit us up.
Hunter, come over for happy hour. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, you can sleep in our cat's bed.
But
or in our bed.
Yeah, credits come on.
The credits.
Which we both were like, oh my god, this song is like really good. And then I was like, wait, I'm a super fan. How do I not know this song? I have the Euphoria vinyl. I have the soundtrack on my Spotify. So Alex did a little digging, and it is Labyrinth. We guessed it, but like...
Yeah, it is Labyrinth, but it's not on the official like soundtrack release because allegedly it's an unreleased track from his new album.
Okay.
But if you want to find it, like, we'll put it on our Instagram. But
Totally.
Also it's called Never Felt So Alone, Euphoria version.
Yeah, totally.
And
I
that's
just
one
really
of
liked it.
I'm pretty so on Labyrinth's score for Euphoria. I think it has great moments and not so great moments, but this is one of my favorite songs for him.
Cool.
Really enjoy that one.
Yeah.
And there we go. Title card, and then we're into it.
We're into it. So my first point was, I like to talk about, I don't know why this like caught my eye, but when Rue's talking about her life with Ali at the diner, I'll let you like get into the diner details, but she kind of talks about
deets.
the diner deets. I noticed that she was talking a lot about how she had no passion for anything. And for Alex and I, that was like really weird and tough to hear because Rue's such a strong, complex character who has like such a great personality. So when you hear that like someone like that doesn't have a passion for anything, it's like almost hard to swallow. You're like, shit, that's like really rough. Because like Alex can describe us very quickly. Like, we are some of the most passionate people around, I feel like. Almost to the point where like our friends are like, can you both like tone it down?
I mean, like, there are so many things we're interested in and passionate about that we could live like lifetimes and never run out of stuff to be like into, like music, film, art, history, like,
this
podcasting, like Euphoria, fucking everything and like anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I find everything like fascinating, and I can't really imagine not having like things that you're just like intensely interested in, because as long as I can remember, like literally from like age 3, starting with Star Wars, I've just been like completely invested in like being so fucking into things.
And being into drugs, we talked about, because drugs for both of us, anytime we've experimented with drugs, it's literally hand in hand with our passions, which are music, watching something weird or funny on TV, like
like what's she doing on drugs? Just hanging around? Like,
I don't know, but like I think it's a good I never noticed it until we rewatched it for the 100th time this time around. And I think it's a good, it's just a really good observation, because it makes you really see Rue for who she is, and you really feel this emptiness, because you're like, wow, that must feel so lonely to have no passions, because passions really can be like your friends, your homies. Like, well, I just mean it, like music, like film, like you can get lost in it. And for her to not have any of that, fuck. Like, now I get why she's like, I guess, an addict and loves Jules. But anyways.
Yeah, it adds an interesting dimension to her character.
It does.
For sure.
But the diner, a great diner.
Yeah, it is a great diner. I'm a big nerd about a good diner. Love a good diner.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, and LA in particular has some of the like great classic diners that are on film and TV.
We've never mentioned this either. Alex and I met in LA and went to school there. So like we're not just speaking of like, oh, you know, we don't know anything. Like, we actually both lived in LA for a long time. I was born there, so like LA is in our culture.
Truly. So I looked it up, and the diner they're at is called Pan's. And it's been there since the 50s. It's been in some other film and TV, including a Triple X starring Vin Diesel, as well as 2 separate Nick Cage movies, Matchstick Men and Next.
Yeah, another personal plug. Alex is literally borderline obsessed with Nick Cage. He sleeps on a pillowcase with his face on it.
It's beyond borderline. I am fully obsessed with Nick Cage.
Maybe you should start a podcast about Nick Cage. That?
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Later.
Don't even get me started.
Talks for later.
Anyways, this is a great diner. It's a great classic 50s LA diner. And it's
really
in the
is.
architectural style known as Googie, which is
Googie?
like Googie.
Like G-U...
Googie, which
Okay.
is a style of architecture that's kind of from like the space age. It's very like futurist looking. It's usually found in like motels, coffee shops, gas stations, diners, that type of stuff. And it's kind of that style that incorporates lots of like space age like imagery, like flying saucers or like the atom, the symbol of the atom, or like big blocky letters, like stuff like that. It's that very like of the time retro futurist like look. And this is a great example.
Can tell.
Oh, totally.
Like, and the location scouts obviously knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah. A lot of people also think this is the diner where they filmed the scenes in Pulp Fiction. But it's not. It was Pan's sister restaurant, Holly's, in Hollywood,
Shout
where
out
they
Holly's.
filmed that. But people aren't too far off, I guess.
Well, that's great. I mean, this scene is obviously really great. Essentially, Ali just gives her the fucking rule of the land, which is like, yo, you're an addict, you're addicted to jewels, like, you need to be fucking careful and tread lightly.
Yeah, and you can tell that Rue gets it, too. Like,
she does. It hits her
she's like,
hard. She's like, fuck.
Oof, yeah, like, you're right. Like, I've just traded addiction to drugs for addiction to jewels.
Yeah, but it's also a sad, like, realization because she really does love jewels. It's not just, like, your baseline, like, now I'm just, like, hooked onto this person just cause. It's, like, I know now that I'm addicted to this person, but I also, like, still like this person. So that's...
Yeah, and now she has to figure out how to tell addiction from love and, like, how to navigate this shit and how to not make it, like, an unhealthy, like, addiction. Like,
totally.
It's tough. But, yeah, they're in there, her and Ali. And I thought it was funny in this scene because Rue mentions she's talking about her classmates having Tumblr rants.
Oh,
which I thought was funny because Tumblr's pretty much dead nowadays after their ban on porn. It still exists, but it kind of died after a new company bought it and they kind of put new policies in place that prohibited like pornographic content,
which is like all it was,
and that pretty much killed Tumblr.
Yeah, I had a roommate that like loved Tumblr, shout out Teal, but like it was definitely like the hipster vibe, but like, and I mean that in like a complimentary way. Like I always loved it. Was essentially like a really good mood board to just stare at and like scroll through for hours.
Yeah,
it was different than Instagram though, because it wasn't self-promoting. It was like promoting other people's art, other people's like, you know,
yeah, I mean,
findings, I guess, if you will.
I think you saw, like, near the end of Tumblr, I think it kind of became, like, more of, like, kind of the early roots of influencers, where there were these people that were, like, sharing photos of themselves and their lives on Tumblr, and were getting huge followings off of it. So it was kind of, like, maybe the early days of influencers, but for the most part, Tumblr was not so, like, self-congratulatory, even if you were posting pictures of yourself.
And I even brought
you weren't
up
necessarily making money off it. You might get internet famous, but it wasn't like this thing where you get brand deals and shit.
No, and you were telling me, which I didn't know, because I was like, why is she talking about Tumblr rants? I thought Tumblr was just fucking pictures, but you said that people like would go on there like it was their journal.
Yeah, people used it kind of like MySpace or like in a diary type way. And
I never
people
used it
would.
like that.
It was also a big thing in like the like fan communities. So all the cringy fanfic that Cat's writing is on Tumblr, and if that's where you would go if you wanted to find like shitty fan art of like two characters like hooking up, like
come for the Tumblr, leave with a fantasy or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But I don't know, kind of R.I.P. to Tumblr. It was like really cool for a while, and I found out about a lot of cool shit on Tumblr. And
damn,
R.I.P. It used to be fucking cool.
Well, you know what? Let's take a moment of silence for Tumblr.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. All right, we are entering the carnival.
Yeah.
Woo! The town carnival. So this is clearly like outlined as a big deal in the community, which is so stupid. Alex and I have our thoughts on small towns because he's from one, and like I think this type of shit is so stupid. But they're all excited. Everyone's there. We get this great opening shot of Angus. Oh, sorry. Fezco.
Mm-hmm.
I confuse all their names. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Fezco and Ashtray opening up their, what is it, Pretzel Mania?
Yeah, the pretzel stand, so that they can sell drugs.
Welcome to Pretzel Mania.
Yeah, here's a
great shot.
Here's a good small town story for you. So in my small town, Vancouver, Washington, the yearly like fall like festival carnival thing was called the Sausage Fest.
No, it wasn't.
And I grew up with this every year, so I didn't really get that
Are
was
you
funny
serious?
until I was older, and then I was like, like,
do you think they
it's
did
called
that
the
on
Sausage
purpose?
Fest.
How fucking stupid were they?
No, it was run by like the church. It was run by like
The church
by like
called
St.
it?
Joseph's Church, and it was because they like had like
Sausages.
bratwurst for sale. And that's how they made a lot of the money. But, like, yeah, every year I went to the Sausage Fest growing up and didn't realize how funny that was until I was, like, a teenager.
That
and
is
I was
so
like,
stupid.
oh.
That is the dumbest shit. Like,
Isn't
the
that
things,
funny?
not only is it funny, the things that small towns come up with, I can't even keep up. I'm a city girl. Alex knows this. I've always lived in a city, so this small town shit really gets me.
But, yeah, I know what it's like when the carnival comes to town in the fall.
Yeah. But Fezco has this great Supreme sweater. He's like, let's get this money.
Yep.
They're setting up their
They're gonna
stands, and
hustle.
you get a really great, very quick couple of shots following every character, which the whole episode is just bouncing all around, which is what makes it so unique and so aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. Is that I love shit like this because, you know, if you're a film geek of any sort, you know how much work goes into these type of shots. But essentially they're following every character's plotline throughout the whole episode. So we've got Alex's weird yellow lighting throughout the whole thing.
The lighting's very like purple and yellow in this episode.
Yeah, it's almost
weird.
it's like
Very weird.
it's good. They do a good job. And we watched like a little interview of that HBO does like after the show, and they were talking about how they were trying to make the carnival like super psychedelic and chaotic, and they definitely execute that.
Yeah, they had some interesting stuff to say about how carnivals are kind of like this weird experiential like space that exists very like it's like a bubble, like you can go in there and it's super psychedelic and weird, and there's like
especially if you're on drugs like Cassie and Maddie.
Sounds and like it's an atmosphere where like
Fireworks.
new weird things happen, like
There's some like, you know, you can like kind of escape if you have a significant
and I
other.
thought that was like I thought it was an interesting take on I thought it was a good analysis of like
Yes.
the carnival and what it represents, and then I also thought that they did a great job like translating that into the episode.
I also feel like the carnival is one of those spots where like, you know, when you're going as a kid, like, or a high school kid at least, I don't know if you can relate, but I definitely can, is like, you know, you're going to the carnival and you're not going to like go on the ride. You're going to like
the carnival
up,
always
meet
has
up.
like a
It's
seedy
like a weird
underbelly.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's never normal. There's always scandalous shit going on.
Even
It's-
going back like to like old like books and stuff, like Something Wicked This Way Comes, like the carnival coming
Yes.
to town is not necessarily like a good thing.
No.
And people usually get up to no
stirs the
good
pot.
there. Like
Yeah.
totally.
So we get this great intro. Like I said, the shots are amazing. Apparently, like the crew built these like crazy dolly shots where they're like running through this carnival, you know, in one take, which is so hard to execute.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of like long tracking shots on dollies and then like flipping the camera around and running it back the
Yeah.
other way
And
and
taking
filming
cranes.
the other side of like
Yeah.
what the camera was seeing the first run, which
Big
was super
cranes
cool.
like whipping around so they could get the Ferris wheel shots. Like, so they were literally like going from a dolly to like a crane, then back down. I mean, it was like
yeah, and they
nuts.
like blended also. It seamlessly looks like one long take.
They
which is
also
cool.
built the carnival from the ground up, which is really cool. So like when they
Yeah.
planned this episode, they had no idea what it was gonna look like. They weren't even really knowing if they were gonna be able to do this. So that's pretty dope.
And they did it on
well.
like a haunted fairgrounds type thing.
Oh yeah, you read about that, didn't?
I was reading an interview.
Sydney Sweeney and Algie.
Yeah, I was reading an interview with those two, and they mentioned that this was filmed on this big, like, the grounds of, like, a big mental hospital where a bunch of patients escaped and, like, murdered a bunch of groundskeepers.
Oh, good.
I couldn't confirm any of this, but that's what they both said. They said it was haunted. They said they went down in the morgue, and it was super creepy, and they were there filming all night and shit, so.
Well, I mean, it makes
don't
sense
know.
why shit gets weird.
Yeah, there you go.
So we get this funny, quick moment. Like I said, we're following each character. We see Nate. He's calling Maddie and screaming, of course, because he's a huge dick. He's like, "Where are you at?" I was laughing because I was making fun of Alex. This is some shit Alex would do if he was meeting up with me. He's horrible at directions.
No, I would be at the Ferris wheel. It just wouldn't be the right Ferris wheel.
Yeah, right.
It's fucking classic.
Whatever. But it's a great, hilarious scene because, first of all, Nate is so fucking stupid. He finally meets up with Maddie. He calls her a hooker, which, like, no.
He's all pissed. He's like, "Why are you dressed like a hooker?"
Yeah, like the carnival's a place where you should be dressed so conservatively. Like, fuck off, Nate. Secondly, he literally is like, "This chili cook-off, do you even know what this means to my family?" It's like, a chili cook-off? You could literally crack open a can of chili from Trader Joe's and throw it into a pot, and it would probably taste better than the one your family makes. So calm down.
Yeah, she's like, "What? It's just the carnival," and he's like, "No, it's the chili cook-off." Like,
You're like,
as
"Oh."
if it's like the Catalina fucking wine mixer. Like,
Exactly. And he made it
so
even
what?
trashier.
So fucking what does it mean mean that it's the chili cook-off? Like, how should she have dressed for the chili cook-off? Like
Exactly.
a fucking pantsuit? Like, what did you want?
Fuck
Like,
off. Also, I love Maddie's outfit to death. It's this designer I'm really a big fan of. Shout out. It's I Am Gia, Gia. They do a lot of cool shit. They do a lot of more like costumey stuff, so that's why it's supposed to be like not your normal everyday outfit. It's like something you'd wear to Coachella.
yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous outfit. But,
Yeah,
like, it's
but
it's the carnival.
it's
so
Maddie.
What the fuck?
What do you
Who
expect
gives a
from Maddie?
shit?
So then after that, we kind of just, like I said, we follow each character. I kind of put a little tiny note that I always think it's cute when you see Kat and Jules together, because I always forget that like Kat was Jules' first friend. I don't know why.
Summer school
I literally
friends.
always forget, because I kind of
They
told
just
you
don't
this
show
too.
them together very often.
Yeah, and I think our other fans might have stuff to say about this too, but I feel like also, I didn't really think about this until just recently, but I feel like you never see Rue and Jules really hanging out with the girl squad, if you will.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of more like casual, like associates with them
Totally.
as opposed to like tight friends.
Yeah.
But they're all
Lexi
still like
intermixes
friends.
the most.
Yeah, and that's where we get here. We get Lexi, Gia, and Rue are hanging out at the carnival, and then they bump into they meet up with Jules.
And
Jules is a gem here. She's so nice
So
and
good.
chill and casual about what happened between her and Rue. She doesn't make it like shitty or awkward or anything.
yeah, she could have easily like made fun of her, humiliated her, and whatever. But like she was so chill about their first kiss.
And also, once again, Rue is looking great outside of school. She's got like the trench coat with the like glittery like tear
Cool
acid tear
eyes.
type thing going on, which totally works. Like
yeah, the makeup crew like executed that so well.
yeah.
But also it's really funny because Alex definitely doesn't agree with this one, but I definitely understand why fans think this. Lexi has a little moment where Gia's like, it's kind of a funny moment because like Jules and Rue are like hugging, they're having their moment. Gia's like, just so you know, to Lexi, confirmed Rue is fucking obsessed with Jules and is in love with her.
Yeah.
And Lexi kind of brushes it off like, oh, like I didn't know that. Like kind of like, oh. And like she kind of gives off a little bit of like jealousy, and I don't know if it's romance. A lot of people out there think Lexi likes Rue, like a romantic way. I don't know. I'm in the middle.
I call bullshit on that.
So I don't think she's like in love. I would never be like, oh my god, Lexi's lusting over Rue. I do think it's more of an ownership thing where it's like, I've been your friend, I've done more for you than like Jules has.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like, you
of
come to
course.
me whenever you need shit, but then you're like, oh, Jules, she's so amazing. It's like, wow, fuck you. What about me?
Yeah, of course. Now that makes sense. I
Yeah.
just don't buy this like romance thing between them. I think it's weird. I think it's totally normal that Lexi would be like kind of like standoffish during this like scene, given that all of a sudden Rue has like this brand new friend who she's completely obsessed with after she's been treating Lexi like shit for a long
Yeah,
time.
and Lexi's a very cool person. Like, she
And
dresses
I think
cool.
also, like, without us, I mean, we don't know this, but it doesn't seem like there have been prior hints that Rue is into girls. So, like, Lexi is probably a little, like, interested at least that Gia's like, yeah, Rue's in love with her.
Totally.
Like, that's probably a little new to Lexi.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
or
know.
not alarming, but like, oh,
Not
wow.
alarming, but, like, we don't know this yet, but it seems like this is kind of new for Rue. So,
Yeah.
as someone that's known her pretty much her whole life, Lexi's probably just like, oh,
I have mixed
interesting.
feelings. All I want to say is all of us super fans definitely want to see more behind the scenes of Lexi. We just need to know more about her life. We really don't know a lot about her personal background. So season
She
two,
seems chill.
you better play into Lexi. Like, we stand Lexi. So yeah, then moving on. Did you have anything else to say about Jules and Rue running into each other?
No, then we move on to
McKay.
McKay, bringing Cassie around the Nate Jacobs family.
Yeah, and like we
And
said, Algie
boy.
Smith, so much love for you, but damn, your character just
Yeah,
like
once
he's
again,
fucking
fuck
up
McKay,
left and
man.
right.
Yep.
We don't. But this is the thing, and Alex is a little different than I am. I don't hate McKay. I just think he's a dumb, immature high schooler. I think there's a difference. I hate Nate. I don't hate McKay. I think he has good intentions. I think he's just so classic, immature.
But
like,
it hurts worse when McKay's shitty because Cassie's like one of the only like
I know.
good, truly good people on the show. Everyone else is kind of shitty, so you don't feel that bad for them when other characters treat them bad. But Cassie
She
is
is,
like
she's-
an actually good person, so it fucking sucks that
I
McKay is
know.
so shitty to her.
I know, but also it's interesting because whenever Algie's interviewed about McKay, it makes a lot of sense that he goes more in depth on McKay's character, and it's very obvious that like he's very self-conscious. He's never had a girlfriend like Cassie, and Cassie's such like a prize. She has like sex videos out and stuff, so I think he's just really territorial over her, but in a way that's like he doesn't even know how to grapple with having like a girlfriend like Cassie. It doesn't excuse anything, but I think he's just very like vulnerable, and he's not good at managing it. So
I mean,
anyways,
I agree. But...
anyways, I went on a rant, but I don't.
But it
hate
doesn't
McKay.
excuse the fact that Nate's like, "Oh, are you guys in a relationship?" And McKay just goes, "No, we're just chilling."
Oh,
like,
Cassie's face is like,
that.
"Excuse me." In that moment, I would be just.
Yep. And then Cal comes in and doubles up on the shittiness and is like, "Oh." He's just being a super fucking misogynist, like, dickhead, and is like, "Oh, McKay, you gotta do a lot to keep a girl like that." Like, a girl like what? Like, fuck you.
I know.
What
like,
do you know about
me?
her, old man? Like,
yeah, what do you know about Cassie? And also, like, how dare you? Like, you're an old... Yeah, exactly. It's just
then he goes,
weird.
he doubles up on it by going down the whole, like, the football thing. He's like,
God.
it's not just football, it's life. Like, no, it is just football. It's a fucking game. It's a game.
Dumb one.
It's a silly game that people play for fun. Like, it's not life. It's a game. No. Life is not a game.
It's also not life when you live in a small town and you're not really going to make it anywhere like McKay. No offense. But it's like, you know, wake up call.
Well, according to Cal, McKay has like the best sidestep 45 in the league or whatever the fuck.
The gin is hitting, ladies and gentlemen. The gin is hitting Alex. Sidestep 45.
That's like pretty much what he says.
Love it. But anyways, we do get a great... We have two interesting moments. We get a great older brother moment, Aaron, who's drunk in the corner of the tent, and he's just like, he's
drinking
just like,
Steel Reserve, no less. Pretty much the cheapest, shittiest, like, malt liquor alcohol you can get in the world.
Which for Cal's prestigious elitist family he drinks Cooks.
Yeah,
though,
Cal drinks Cooks.
But anyways, he's drunk and he's like just in the corner, like pretty much mocking his brother and his dad. It's just like a great scene. I think it's so redeeming because he's the only redeeming quality in that fucking family. But then it also plays into the big mystery. Who is the little son?
Yeah, so here we have the whole Jacobs family, and the little son from the family photo on the phone and on the wall is mysteriously absent.
He's never there, and it's like, where's the little boy?
I think he's got to be dead.
No, okay, he might be dead, but also like he should be there because there's no reason a little boy would stay home. Like, also they're all young in that photo.
He's clearly out of the picture for some reason. He intentionally is omitted from every scene with that family other than the family photos. Yeah, and that's for a reason. Is he dead? Probably.
Yeah, well, he should be there stirring the chili with the family because the chili is so important. So where are you, little son? And we're going to put the photo.
The mystery little son.
We will absolutely. We're going to plug the family photo in one of our posts. And I would love all of our fans to comment, like, who do we think this little son is? If he had a name, what would it be? And, like, where was he during this chili cook-off?
Well, his name is Fenn. He's dead. And he's buried in the ground.
Okay, well, I think his name is Beans. I think...
Oh, that's pretty good.
I think he had bad gas and he had to stay home and he missed the carnival.
Oh, you think he's still alive, just at home with bad gas?
Exactly.
Fascinating. We'll see in season 2.
Then we transition into the scene with Cassie and Maddie, correct?
Yeah, the girls, like, both had some bad times with their men, so they're like let's fucking get some drugs. So
fuck these boys. Maddie goes, do you want to do Molly? She's like, want to do Molly? And Cassie's just like, yes, please. Yeah. So they go through the great seamless ticket process of getting a ticket to Pretzelmania.
Yeah. Ashtray's like, welcome to Pretzelmania.
Can I take your order?
I love Ashtray. They get
like,
some Molly.
2 pretzels, please. And Maddie's like, ew, carbs. And Cassie's just like, oh my God, Maddie, shut up. And then they have a little moment, but there's the infamous quote.
It's sad that they throw those pretzels away, though. They should have eaten those.
Yeah, that probably would have helped them out.
Right?
They were both kind of struggling.
They could have used some food.
They could have used some protein.
Yeah.
But I love the line when Maddie's like, bitch, you're my soulmate. I mean, everybody loves that. I have a bracelet with that engraved on it. That's how much I love it. It's a great moment in time. But anyways, Maddie has a small moment where she like grabs Cassie by the arm and is like, I gotta talk to you. Like, Nate has dick pics. And I mean, that's an important moment to remember because we get into that next episode.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else to say about Maddie and Cassie? I mean, they're just having a great night.
No. Their night starts out great.
Then we go, I have the tent. I wrote that I was really drunk during the episode and I accidentally thought Alex was laughing at me so hard. I was like, why does it say Jacob's family on the chili tent? Because I was thinking Jacob Elordi. I was like, why would they put the real actor's name on the tent? And then I forgot that Nate's last name is Jacobs. I mean, it just goes to show you could watch a show 20 times and it's like, fuck, I didn't know Nate's
It's
name was
not
Jacobs.
Jacob's family. It's the Jacobs family.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Jacobs
the
family.
Jacobs family.
And it's
But
like
yeah,
chili.
that
Chili
was pretty
tent.
funny. Paige was pretty confused about that.
Well, I was just like, why would they do that to poor Jacob Elordi? That's so weird.
Yeah, so then Rue is not believing Jules about the Cal hookup, so
No.
she heads on over to the Jacobs tent to get some chili and puts the power play on Cal, which is fucking great because
It's
he's just
such a good
quaking in his
scene.
boots like a little
Quaking
bitch.
in his boots, his ladle is shaking. The chili is flying off the ladle onto the table.
Yep, chili flying everywhere. Everyone's staring.
And Nate is so mad.
Nate is
That's my favorite part.
fuming. Yep.
He's just in the corner and he can't do anything about it because he
Nope.
can't let his dad know that he knows.
Exactly.
So we both love
great.
that part because it's like, fuck you, Nate. You should be so mad. Ha ha ha.
Yep.
Your dad fucked Jules.
Yeah, and then they pan over to Rue and her face is fucking hilarious. She's like,
She's
"Oh,"
like,
and then she just like turns around and walks away very awkwardly
like,
into
"Oh,
the
shit."
dark. Yeah.
Then Aaron calls Jules jailbait, which is so
Mm-hmm.
funny because it's just like, once again, Aaron's just drunk having a good time.
Yeah, little does he know, both of the other men in his family have
Had sexual
have
encounters.
some feelings about that jailbait.
So then we have in my opinion, one of the most empowering female scenes in all of Euphoria, which was when Maddie is clapping because they won the fucking chili cook-off. Yay, you get a trophy that's probably plastic. She's clapping and she walks right up and the mom's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And she goes, you cunt. Kicks over the
Yep,
chili pot.
knocks the chili pot over.
So good. And
A great classic fuck you moment.
a classic fuck you moment, but the fact that they use the word cunt makes it even better because everyone's so afraid to use that word. And I feel like I won't go into it because so many people get so easily offended, but I don't really care. Like, I think it's a funny word.
It's whatever.
It's just
fine.
whatever. It's so empowering. I love
I would
it.
say it more, but it's honestly not that fun to say. But like,
Yeah, it doesn't roll off
it's
the
just
tongue, but
whatever.
in that moment, it does.
Yeah,
Cunt chili.
yeah, it's a great moment.
Two great words put together.
Yeah, and that's kind of like one of
Chili cunt.
the
The mom
old,
is a chili cunt.
The mom is definitely a chili cunt. Faux show, 100% confirmed.
So
Chili
then-
cunt confirmed.
Then, after the chili cunt scene, we pan over to the Cassie carousel moment.
Yeah, Cassie is
She's having a good time.
Cassie grabs Daniel's like want to ride the carousel. Daniel being Kat's ex-boyfriend from like when they were 10 or something.
Yeah.
They go ride the carousel.
And boy, Cassie's having a good
She's like,
time.
I could ride the carousel forever.
Okay, I can relate to Cassie because Alex knows this. I've the very few times I have experimented with drugs like Molly, I definitely get that same like horny feeling. So like I can't even imagine like riding a carousel. Like I just all I'm gonna say is I know how she felt in that moment, and there's nothing more horrifying for a carousel to come to a slow stop and then to look around and see everyone just staring at you like what the actual fuck. And you just like coming off this high. Like I totally get why she goes into like a very quick downward spiral.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
even
another,
think it's not even about kissing Daniel. I think she's just like, oh my god, this is humiliating. Like I've been like moaning and groaning out loud on a carousel.
Yeah, it's another one of those moments that Euphoria does well where like from the inside the drug experience is looking like great. Like you're on the carousel, it's hot, it's sexy.
It's cool.
Like
Drugs are cool until they're not.
You're making out with Daniel, like he's cute, like this is like great. And then as soon as you're like outside that moment, it's like, what the fuck is this girl doing? Like jizzing all over the carousel in front of all
Yep.
like all the kids. Like
And dads. Well, dads
Yeah.
especially. So it's like not only that, but also I'm sure a part of her, of course, feels guilty because she does love McKay. So that's also really shitty because you're like, damn it, I was
Does
high. I was
she?
like in the moment. She does. She's really sad after.
yeah, I guess.
She is.
I
So
know.
then pan over to Kat. Am I right? We
I
kind of
mean,
go to
yeah.
Kat a little bit.
Yeah, we go to Kat at a certain point, and she's she had met up with Ethan. They were gonna get drunk on slushies and have some fun.
They're on the
and
tilt-a-whirl. They're like,
yeah, love the tilt-a-whirl. Paige hates
ew, I
it.
hate that ride.
Whatever.
Alex, whatever. You almost
Yeah.
cried on the zipper.
Yeah, because fuck the zipper. This is a terrible ass ride. Of course, I almost cried on
I
it.
took
It's
Alex
trash.
on the zipper once, and I thought he was gonna love it, and he literally was screaming and almost cried.
I was not screaming, but I was horrified. And the
You were
zipper is
screaming.
absolute trash. It's not fun. If you think it is, fuck you. But yeah, they're gonna have some fun, and then Kat kind of mistakes like one of Ethan's like dumb sisters, dumb friends, like talking to him, and gets all upset.
She gets self-conscious, that's all. I think she just, in that moment, is like, I thought he liked me. This is obviously just like a friend thing, not more than that. So I think she just got self-conscious and kind of dipped. Which
and then she goes off to fuck the Caston, the legendary like the big dick boy, Caston. The big dick carny previously from the high school, who is very hot. Finally, kind of Kat upgrades from like tiny dick diaper men and like
she also has a good outfit, like you
and she
noted.
Gets like one of the hottest dudes on the show. She looks pretty good in this episode too.
She's got the latex red like top. She just looks good.
She raw dogs it with the Caston though, which
we
is.
We don't know if she raw dogs it.
Yes, we do, because she asks if he has a condom and he says no.
Oh, you're right. Okay, but she's probably on the pill.
So she's gonna get pregnant, but whatever. At least he's cute.
I think she's on birth control, which you should still do both kids, but still. Fuck, yeah, you're right. She told us raw dog it.
Yep. And then meanwhile, we got Nate, who is choking the shit out of Maddie. Are we surprised at all that Nate is physically abusive? Like, no one's surprised by this.
He's awful.
Yep.
I mean, there's not much more to say. And the other part that I know you brought up while we were watching it, which I thought was really important, and I'll say again, is that it shows how manipulative Nate is, because he chokes Maddie and then he's so manipulative of like controlling her feelings, because he ropes her right back in by being like, I've had a really hard week. Like, I don't want to talk about my dick pics. Like, there's just so much going on in my life. And Maddie fucking falls for it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shit going on here. First of all, like, this is one of many reasons it's tough to like fully love Maddie, because she has some great moments, like knocking over the chili pot, and like banging Tyler, but then she also like follows those up by just like wussing out and going back to Nate, or doing other really shady stuff, like saying that Tyler raped her.
And it's not wussing out, and I agree with you, because she's not the classic abused victim that's like submissive to him. Like, even after he chokes her, she like, instead of being like, I'm sorry, and like crying in a corner, she immediately is like, what's up with the dicks on your phone? Like, she never
seems scared of him.
Yeah, she's not afraid of him.
Not that she shouldn't be, but she doesn't seem to be scared of him.
That's what I mean. She's not your classic abuse victim, so it's really hard to empathize with her, because you're like, you're so strong.
Yeah, she's like one of
Kick him in the balls and walk away.
There's a few characters in the show that you like want to love at times, and then they're kind of like really shady people in other moments, so it's hard to like fully get behind them, and she's like one of those big examples. But then other than that, this scene is like really interesting, because right around this same time, we also have Cal going to Jules.
Yes.
And basically like begging her like to not ruin his life. And it's interesting because we see like a contrast between how Nate and Cal approach these situations. And I think
much more vulnerable.
I think it tells us a lot about their characters. So Cal approaches Jules very vulnerable, like basically on his knees.
He's
a very like human approach, basically like trying to connect with her, trying to like ask her, but never being like super manipulative, just being very like legitimate and like authentic, and is like, I know you could ruin my life, and all I can say is like, please don't.
Well, he's not only vulnerable, but he's very, you can tell that we had that previous theory that he might be a victim himself, and I think that's like a huge indicator. It's like, that's what a victim normally does, is they have some sort of level of empathy and like human connection, which I feel like in that moment Cal kind of was like,
yeah, I find it to be like I find it to be a little piece of evidence that possibly Cal is a victim or has had something fucked up happen to him, possibly little Beans dying, who knows. But like, I think that there's some like Beans degree of like real like trauma or something, and that he like approaches this situation very like humanly.
Not threatening. He doesn't threaten Jules.
Right. Does not threaten Jules. And then this is contrasted heavily by Nate, who is immediately just being so manipulative to Maddie, is trying to like, being very cold, clearly like manipulative, trying to get her back on her side. All the emotion he's showing is so obviously fake.
Yeah, like, it's not even real. You don't even feel for him. You're not like,
all.
Oh, poor guy,
so
he's gay.
Fake.
Oh, that's so sad. You're like, no, you're not even like trying to show emotion, even if you had any.
Exactly, and that's probably because nothing shitty's ever happened to him.
So then we quickly, once again, it bounces around a shit ton. So then we get, I wrote Z and Gia because I always say Zendaya instead of Rue. But yeah, Rue and Gia have this moment where Rue finds Gia, which you make fun of her friend.
Yeah, she finds Gia because Rue runs into her dumbass friend who's like basically brain dead and is like, I think Gia's like over there behind that thing. Like, I have to pee. Is basically just a useless like slug human. She's like a slug human. But through the slug human useless friend, they find Gia, who's over there smoking weed with Roy and Troy, McKay's brothers.
Yes.
As we now know.
McKay's brothers. But this is another instance where we both are like, sometimes we stan the twins, sometimes we think they're just both, they fucking suck, and this is when they fucking suck. This is also when you really see Rue and Gia's, like, just their sisterhood shines through. Because you know what? In that moment when Roy and Troy suck, and they say, you know, they're essentially mocking Rue for ODing, Gia stands up. She's like stoned as fuck, but she knows, like, you don't cross that line. That's my sister. Like, you don't get to say that shit. And I love it. She just gets up and goes with Rue. She doesn't even like fight back. She's just kind of like, yo, that was lame.
Yeah, we're back to fuck Roy and Troy for being shitty to Rue here.
Fuck Tio and Tamara.
Gia's chill though. Gia looks like a classic 13-year-old where she way overdid her eye makeup. Like, she's got the total raccoon eyes, but like, so it goes.
But also, like, she's such a cute stoner. Like, when they're walking home, I love that part when she's like, what should I do? Like, when I see Mom, like, what should I do?
Yeah, she's all nervous.
It's cute.
Rue's got her back. She's like, just go straight to your room, which we know all about because we have to do that for each other all the time.
Yeah, even as adults. Like, literally, if we're too fucked up, we, like, come home to Alex's parents' house. I mean, not anymore because we're in New York now. His parents are back in Washington, but yeah, you get the picture.
Oh, yeah, we covered for each other all the time.
So then we get, you know, the last concluding scenes of this episode, which are actually really beautiful. There's one shot in particular that Alex and I are, like, obsessed with.
Yeah, it's when Jules is riding her bike through the dark, and it's, like, again in the orange groves, and it's lit by, like, a big white spotlight. And it's in slow-mo, and there's this super creepy, like, heavy ambient, like, droning score going on.
It's almost like a white noise, though. It's not even like a, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's like the drone. The droning, like, white noise, and it's very this is a very David Lynch shot, and I'm a huge David Lynch fan. Speaking of, another great LA diner, the one in Mulholland Drive.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, great. Yeah, it's fucking scary. This also looks like a shot out of like a horror movie. Like there's like an intense sense of dread. Like this is like heavy, scary, weird shit.
Which is interesting because I didn't realize this until now, but when I was watching it, I thought immediately, not only do I love that shot, but it's very foreshadowing that obviously this isn't going to go well.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel so stupid because when I first watched Euphoria, my very first time around, the end of this episode was a huge plot twist for me. I knew it was Nate, but I thought Nate was going to meet up with Jules and secretly be like, hey, you're the only one that will, like, understand that I'm gay. Like, I thought they were going to have this, like, heart. I really did. I thought Nate was going to, like, open up and he'd have some sort of, like, redeeming moment because we haven't seen anything. So I was like, we're going to see it now. Like, I can't wait. Now that I watch it, I'm like, that scene literally sets you up for, like you said, it's like a horror film. So, like, watching that, I should have known, like, this is not going to go well. Yeah. Something is going to happen that's really bad. And sure enough, it does.
Yeah. They meet up. They're in this weird, like, park that's lit by, like, football stadium lights and is super weird and creepy.
Scary.
Yeah, it's
totally
like when
he's walking toward her, you're like, fuck, even though we all know it's Nate, it's, like, very scary. You're like, oh, my God. Ugh.
Yeah, it's super scary. And then Nate is pretty much there, initially at least, to kind of, like, fulfill his sexual fantasies, which are derived from his, like, sexual obsession with his father. So he basically tries to recreate Cal's, like, banging interaction with Jules, like, with her, with the whole thumb in the mouth thing.
Totally. And
thinking
it does not
that's
go
going
right.
to go well. And, like, this is, I mean, that's basically, like, it's like how they talk about, like, people that don't have sexual experience try to mimic like porn and what they've seen, and it's like that's not what real sex is like. And that's basically Nate. He's just trying to do like what he's seen.
You know what I just thought? You know who else does that?
Who?
McKay with Cassie.
Yeah, McKay, totally.
He chokes Cassie and she's like, goons. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, at least McKay learns, but
he does, and he's so apologetic where Nate's just a fuck.
Exactly.
But I was gonna also say, when I first watched this, I don't know about all of our little fans listening, but I feel like I thought he was doing that with revenge in mind, meaning he was mocking what she did with Cal. But now I see it as what Alex said, which is it's absolutely Nate being so just like not at all aware of like his sexual orientation. Like he's just not open to it. He's very closed off. He has no emotions. So like for him, he thought mimicking what his dad did would be like successful, and that Jules would be like, this is hot, and like he'd fulfill his fantasy. Obviously, like we said,
I don't even think he's there. Like, I don't think he likes her. I don't think he's there for her. I think he's there.
But see, I thought their kiss was like real. Meaning, like, I thought for a second, I really mean this. I think Jules was kind of like, this is weird, but I'm like here for it. And then I feel like he was kind of like hoping it would keep going, and she was like, no.
She never seemed there for it to me. But either way, my take on it is that Nate is there to like live out like his real sexual like fantasy,
dreams,
which is based on this like a fucking perverted obsession with his father's sex tapes.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But
and when that doesn't go well, he flips the script real fucking quick.
Which you and I both agreed, he had this in his back pocket. Meaning, like, he knew if this didn't go well, he was going to have this be, like, the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, to me, the scene tells us that Nate is a sociopath because I think he came there for himself and with this, like, one goal in mind. And the second, like, that doesn't work out, he's like, okay, cool. It's like the switch flipped. Like, he is cold.
Fast.
He doesn't give a shit about her as a person. It's a definitive, like, instant switch to, like, his cold, like, lizard brain persona.
Yes.
Where he's immediately just like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, like, I'm going to make your life
like, he's miserable. A complete sociopath. I think he only, like, I think he can make that switch. I don't think he has, like, human empathy. And I think he's, like, only there to fulfill, like, his own insane, like, fucked up goals with no regard for like anyone else.
I absolutely agree. It's a really dark, very sad scene for Jules. But actually, no, she comes out on top, I think, personally. I mean, I know it's very traumatizing for her, but fuck, when she grabs Nate and like calls him out, or what does she do? She's like, what does she say? She's like, you're just like your dad.
She's like, you know what I think? Like, I think you're a faggot, just like your daddy or something.
Which is like baller. Like, once again, like we said at the beginning of the episode, for how much Jules has gone through, she's so confident, and she really is. Oh, we also said this. I do want to say this. He essentially tells Jules that she's broken, which I think is so stupid because Nate is the one that's broken, not Jules. Jules is strong. She knows who she is. And sure, she might have some bumps in the road, but like we've learned from this episode that she has risen from like a very dark spot that her mom put her through, and she's come out stronger than ever. So I feel like it's like, no, fuck you. Jules knows who she is. She knows who she wants to be.
Yep.
Nate.
I think that comment on Nate's part is very self-referential without him, whether he means it or not. I think he's really talking about himself. Like, he has, thanks to Cal, he has this intense fear of like people coming after his family and his family getting fucked up, and he's like framing this as if he's like afraid of Jules in this instance and her fucking up her family. But I think what he's really afraid of and who's really broken and who he really doesn't trust is himself.
Yeah, he's afraid of wrecking his own family image.
Yeah, like he's gonna fuck shit up, and I think some part of him like knows it because he's
and
being
of course,
a fucking psychopath.
Whenever you know you're in the wrong, it's so much easier to put the blame on someone else. So it's easy to be like, well, Jules, you're the reason my family's fucked. It's like,
no. Bud, it's you.
Nope, Jules is an innocent party in this.
Also, someone with a law degree could really fuck Nate up on this. Like, basically this whole season, everything Nate does hinges on making, like, vague legal threats. And if any of these people ever consulted a real lawyer, like, I'm pretty sure all this could be torpedoed.
They're too young to do so, but I get what you mean.
I know. It's just, like, these are all very vague threats.
Where's Olivia Benson when you need her?
Where is O-Dog? We need Benson and Stabler.
We need Law & Order SVU. Anyone from there to help Jules out in this moment.
Yep.
But, you know, that's how the episode ends. Oh, no, it doesn't. No. Oh, my God, I forgot the most beautiful part. I'm sorry.
We have a redeeming, beautiful moment to end this fucked up episode.
We do. And it's Jules running to Rue, which is she crawls through her window and is like, yo, can I stay the night?
Very cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. They, like, essentially have this little sleepover. And I think I wanted to also bring up that it's really sweet that Rue, instead of being like, told you so, I was right, like, motherfucker was crazy, he's a creep, you know? She really, like, was very, very understanding and there for Jules.
No, she doesn't hold it over her head or anything. No. They're very, like, respectful to each other. They're pretty mature. Like, they treat each other really well.
They're not dramatic like Cassie and McKay.
No.
So that's a really sweet moment. But anyways, there's this really beautiful, like, romantic scene where they're clearly, like, they're doing lots of stuff. Who knows? In the bed.
Yeah. What they doing?
Making out. I mean, I'm sure it went further.
What
they
that
had all
booty
night.
do?
What that booty do? That's what algae would say. What
That
that
is
booty
what algae
do?
would say.
But no, I mean, they really have this really beautiful, like, hookup moment. The
I
camera's
really like the
revolving.
scene.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's so cute.
the camera revolves. You can tell they're standing, like the stand-up bed you talked about earlier. And the score here is also so good. They use like a very like magical, like old Hollywood
It's like
type
La La Land.
score. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very old Hollywood, like golden age, very like romantic and magical, which works super well.
It does.
Love that.
Because it leaves
Great
you
choice.
like with goosebumps. You're just like, oh my God. This is the first episode where you're just like, I fully stand Rue and Jules. Like, you want them to come out like in a good
it's
relationship.
Great. Love it.
So yeah, that's where we end
and
this
then-
beautiful episode.
And then the credits roll. And after last week's fun credit discoveries, I took a deep look at the credits this week, and yet again we have some pretty funny names in the credits.
What do we
this
have, Alex?
We have some hookup, random sweet guy, random guy, and random weird guy.
Like, what's the difference between random sweet guy and random guy?
I assume that's in reference to Jules' like car hookups.
Also, wouldn't that suck if you were an extra and that was your name was just random guy? Like, at least give me something.
Right, like
I'd rather be random weird guy than just random guy.
Yeah, the one guy is just random guy. Like,
Damn.
so we got sweet, random, and
You know what I just thought
weird.
of? They
What?
haven't filmed season 2. They haven't even started filming for season 2. We should absolutely advocate to be extras.
We should. We'll probably have to fly to LA, but fuck
Who
it.
cares? Fuck
Let's be
it. I was just
extras.
thinking that. Like, you can easily... There's a lot of websites where you can sign up to be extras. I'm
Totally.
on one of them.
Yeah, same.
Oh my God.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
We're getting on this later.
Cool.
So then we're on to superlatives.
Yeah. All right.
It's superlative
Superlatives.
time.
Best
We
dressed.
don't have any
What you
music
got,
for
Paige?
this. So best dressed for me, I said Maddie.
Interesting. I went with Kat this episode, which I know you would not have seen coming probably, but I think
I changed my mind. Cat.
her outfit works really
I just
well.
changed my mind though. I'm with you. I like Cat.
It's not cliche. It doesn't look like she just bought it at like Hot Topic.
No.
It's very flattering for her.
It's very
Some of her outfits
carnival-esque.
definitely are not. I think the jacket's great. I think her hair is good. I like the choker.
The
Like
hair is really good.
she like got it together. She looks really good. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's
She
kind of
has-
Shannon and the Clams.
It's kind of like her own style. It doesn't just feel like she just like pulled this
Slapped
off
together.
of like the mall like dressing gown. Whatever.
Absolutely.
Like she actually like put something together with her own style, and it works. So I like it.
Yep. Cat, you won best dressed. Worst dressed.
For me, it's Maddie. I don't give a shit about the sluttiness of the outfit. I just don't think it looks very good. I don't find it very
You're
flattering.
just not into it.
Not my thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you take that because I really I couldn't think of anybody that was worst dressed. I honestly just thought like whatever.
Fair. How about your Bay of the episode?
Bay of the episode for me is Maddie. Like, absolutely, hands down. I mean, to call anyone a cunt is very, like, you go. I mean, especially when it's warranted. And, I mean, killing over a chili pot, or, like, pushing it over, whatever she does, kick it, push it, like, that's hard. Like,
Badass.
you have to work out to do that. I don't know if I could. That'd be so embarrassing if you're, like, you're a cunt and you went in to kick it and it
You
didn't,
couldn't like shove it over.
it didn't go over. Oh, my God. Can you imagine the humiliation?
Oh, the humiliation.
That would be me. So, yeah, Maddie.
For me, it's Jules' dad. There's a couple, obviously Jules is a total badass in this episode, but we say her a lot. But in this episode, we find out that Jules' dad quit his job to, like, be with her.
Yeah,
He helped her, like, start
so
transitioning
supportive.
at 16. Like, he was super cool. He was like, fuck you to the mom. And
Got her out of that
bailed her
asylum.
the fuck out of there. Like, so yeah, Jules' dad.
Jules'
What
dad.
a gem.
Jules' dad, you are a real shining gem.
How about your big purple dirty rat bastard?
Nate.
It's going to be Nate for me.
It's always Nate.
Duh, big surprise. What about class clown?
Class clown. I mean, I'm going to say Maddie again.
For the chili pot, yeah.
Yeah,
Classic.
for kicking over that chili
I'm
pot.
going to go with Aaron, the one brother that we do know is in the picture for drinking Steel Reserve and shitting on everyone and calling Jules jailbait and just being kind of like a drunken,
Tipsy.
like, shit
Tipsy at
show
the
in the
carnival.
corner and just roasting everybody.
Yeah, and the fact that he
my
brings his
dude.
family humiliation, like bringing the Jacobs humiliation is just like,
Love it.
You're a class
Yeah,
clown.
my dude. Best couple.
best couple.
It's
Rules.
rules for me. Like, yeah.
It's rules.
They're continuing like the dramatic, like emotional teen romance, the arc that kind of started
But
in the
the good
last
kind.
episode. Like, it really kicked in the last episode, and
Yeah.
now it is like in full swing.
It's in full swing, but it's also, like you said, they're both, even though they go through a lot, they're both very mature, which is very, like, unheard of in high school. think about my relationships that I thought were serious, and I'm like, oh my God, like absolutely embarrassing. And I feel like they actually really like manage, even though they go through a lot of like bumps, they're very mature about it. So
yeah, as of now, they've been very good to each other.
we stand rules. Duh, who doesn't though?
Song of the week.
Song of the week. I mean, I like the credits, the Labyrinth one we discovered, which we'll plug on our Spotify playlist. But which, by the way, I haven't linked that yet. I will. I'm working on it.
Cool. Despite not playing in the episode, I'm gonna choose Shook Ones Part 2. It's Mobb Deep.
We'll put that on it too.
It's a New York City like hip hop classic from the 90s.
Well, great. They should have played it.
Holds up. It's fucking
Does
hot.
it not? It doesn't even play in the credits?
No.
Damn. What the fuck?
No.
Well, I think that was great. Unless you have anything else to add about the episode.
That's it for me.
Honestly, this is absolutely my personal, I think it's my favorite. I'll probably say that every episode, but like this is my favorite. So I love this episode. It's so great. I hope you all enjoyed our in-depth look into it. Of course, I can't end without plugging. Please, please, please follow us. Like, share us. Like, we want the word spread, don't you? Like, Euphoria Season 2 is coming out. We need to be prepared. We are in a crisis. We are dealing with a pandemic. What?
We need Euphoria recaps. We need updates.
The world, when it comes out of this, you will all be so proud that you tuned in. I mean, this is important shit. We need to be ready for Season 2. So you know what? Follow us on Instagram. We are at @so_euphoric. Follow us on Twitter. We are at that's so euphoric. If you just, you know what? If you don't have access to Spotify, our link is in our bio for Anchor, which has all the platforms in which you can listen to this podcast. But if you are in a country where you don't have access, or if you just like are poor as shit like we are, and you can't afford Spotify, you know what? Don't you worry. Go to YouTube, type in That's So Euphoric. You can stream any episode that we upload there. That is all. We are so excited to do our episode 5, which we will drop next Tuesday. We love you all. We love the support. And you know what? We're just going to end here and we're going to go get more fucked up on our vodka and tea. But we love you.
You know what, Paige?
Let me grab my glass. Wait.
Grab your glass.
Really caught me off guard here, Alex.
That
Cheers.
is so
euphoric. Oh, love it. See you next week.